Hello, everyone. We're back. We survived 2023. That's it's nothing short of a miracle. So it's good to be back. Brandi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to be getting heavy snow for a few hours tomorrow morning, then heavy rain, and it's going to be a slushy mess, but at least I can do my job for once because it's doing something. So
Love
it's
to
a
hear
win.
it.
We already got people in the chat. We got Corey, we got Time Prophet, and a couple other lurkers as I see we have more viewers. So hello to everyone. Whether you comment or not, you are welcome with Order of the Blue Lotus. Today we have a really special double feature. Someone immediately in my head, it's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show entrance is like double feature picture show. Yeah, I love that.
I hope
Brandi
that
knows.
in our lifetime we can do that again, like together.
We absolutely do. That should be our Valpo reunion, is just going to see a live Rocky Horror. They did it actually at Columbus Comic-Con. And they had the guy who played Brad. He was there at the con. He was at the whole performance and everything. It was amazing. So we need to do that for sure. Time Prophet says you can keep your yellow snow. I will, because I'm happy with it. And I'm also happy that we're at the Day of Black Sun, because this one made more of an impact on me than other episodes, I want to say, leading up to it. So I'm excited to see what you think about it and what everyone else in the chat thinks. So should be a fun one. Also, Rapunzel, yes, your tornado watch alerts just went off. Thanks for the heads up. You're welcome. I knew it was probably going to happen. Rapunzel's in a 10% hatch tour, which means there's a 10% chance of a EF2 or higher tornado within about a 25-mile radius of Rapunzel. So, and the college football playoffs, by the way.
Stay safe, Rapunzel.
Be good. You can listen to us from your shelter. We got great. We'll get you through it. And Louise X Sparrow says hello. We got a lot of people to talk with and a lot of things to talk about with this episode, starting with the episode description, because I will be honest, I have been impressed with how they've turned themselves around. I think it might be because we switched from Netflix to Paramount Plus. I haven't checked to see if those descriptions are different, but they're doing a little bit better. They still aren't Brandi caliber. The Brandi's still on top. But for this one, The Day of Black Sun, it's technically 2 episodes squished into one, but the description reads, with the day of the eclipse upon them, the kids, along with a ragtag force of old friends, enact their long-planned invasion of the Fire Nation.
It's so similar to mine.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So no.
I'm sure you still got history on your side, Brandi. If nothing else, that breaks any tiebreakers.
I don't know. I think I'm really gonna have to like start upping my game. Like,
yeah. I'm sure they'll slip up soon.
One can only hope.
Yeah.
So I have
you, Brandi.
I have the gang, along with a ragtag crew of familiar faces, invade the Fire Nation capital during an eclipse in hopes of ending the 100-year war.
That is very similar. Right down to ragtag.
You said ragtag, and I was like, oh no.
But see, yours has one key difference. You said the gang, and they said the kids. And
it's always
like the gang.
It's always the
way
gang.
better.
There are no kids. It's the gang.
Oh, they are not children. They are 40-year-olds in smaller bodies. Like that's pretty much. They're waging war, people. But yeah, no, you still win. Absolutely. Also, Time Prophet says, remember after a tornado to seek out the Wicked Witch of the West. That's good news for Rapunzel. Yeah, check her out. No place like home. Absolutely true. And Rapunzel, #ragtag crew. Love that. Stealing that, actually. But yes, it's so true. This episode, it's nice when it starts out because you get to see all of the old friends that they've picked up along the way. Like it goes back to season 1, because you have Haru and his dad, you have the Swamp Benders, you have, and then you got book 2, you got the Boulder returning.
I think I always forget that the Boulder and the Hippo are in this, because I was watching and I was like, okay, yeah, like Haru and his stupid mustache, and we see the swamp people, and everybody should know at least that I love the swamp people. So like we had that, And then, we're just, like, having, like, this little moment, and then, like, they pick her up, and I'm like, "How could I forget?"
They're like, "We fight for our kingdom," and that was actually really good. I'm proud of
It
myself.
was,
But
yeah.
she's like, "Cool."
Sweet.
Like that's such a good Toph moment. I love it. Toph really is like the underlying MVP of this invasion.
Yeah, like, I
Like
think
Sokka's always up front, but Toph's kind of right behind.
yeah, I think, like, the first episode, instead of it being more about, like, Aang or anybody else, like, it's really more about, like, Sokka and, like, his struggle of
Mhm.
being, like, a good leader and stuff like that, which I think is very
Oh yeah.
interesting because I think leading up to it, there's been a lot of focus of, like, Aang, like, obviously, the episode before this is Nightmares and Daydreams, and so it's all,
Oh
like, this
yeah.
pressure that Aang is feeling, and everybody else is feeling really, really good about it, and then to have this episode kinda, like, shift and be more about Sokka than it is Aang, I think is very
Mhm.
interesting, and I think that it's also really cool that, this show can be like, "Oh, okay, here's this big moment, but it's not, like, the big moment, so we'll take a step
Mhm.
back and we'll focus on a team member instead of, like, the avatar
Mhm.
themselves." So, I think that's really cool.
Exactly. It is, and he goes from being really because a lot of the time, he's smart and he
Mhm.
shows it, but he's goofy. He's the comic relief of the group. And this one really solidifies like no, he's got it. Like he can still be goofy, but check out what he can do in battle cuz when we first see him, if you compare him to where he started in book 1, like even just the
Aw,
way that they
baby.
draw him. Yeah, he looks so much more mature. And, like, he evolved into the warrior that he wanted to be, and it's really amazing to see that kind of character development in less than 3 full seasons.
Yeah, and then also, like, in terms of, like, time of, like, the actual show, like, this is only a couple of months. Like, we
Oh,
started in
yeah.
winter, we've gone through spring, and, this is, I guess, the beginning of the summer? I'm not entirely sure.
I wanna
I
think
think
it
the
is?
comic comes at the end of summer, right?
Yes, yeah, it
Okay,
does.
yeah. So, like, there's not a whole lot of, like, in-universe time passing as well. Also, Bato is so incredibly tall, or
He
Hakoda is
is.
so incredibly short. I don't know which.
Yeah, I think Bato's just a giant. Well, and it's funny too because looking up this episode and especially just typing in fan fiction after any episode's name, really is opening up a portal into a very spicy dimension. There are a lot of people who ship Bato and Hakoda,
I
like a lot.
mean, interesting, okay, that's fine, I'm not gonna harp on anybody's, thing, but, like, I always just think that, like,
I thought they were brothers growing up, so I was so confused.
oh, ooh, I never
Yeah,
thought
it
of
made
that.
me realize, like, literally
I
looking this up, I realized they weren't brothers.
Yeah,
Like,
I never got the sense that they were brothers, I just, always just figured that they were, like, best friends.
yeah, exactly. They had a bromance thing. They were just
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, dude,
100%.
let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go kill some firebenders."
or a
It is
seal or
fun.
something.
Yeah, probably a seal. That's a more benign way. Although Time Prophet believes that oh wait, that was the wrong crap. I was gonna say he kills raccoons, and then I would have been bad if I said killed the swamp people by accident. No, definitely gutted some sort of animal for sure. And interesting, you don't like their accents. I found that British people, people from the UK as a whole, really don't vibe with Southern accents. Benedict
Really?
Cumberbatch trying to pretend to have one. No shade, a little bit of shade.
I didn't know that.
Yes, no, I've just from my experience, I want to know if Time Prophet believes something similar, possibly. And yes, Rapunzel Haru's mustache is distracting. Sokka has physically grown and evolved, but you know what? Character development for Haru, mustache.
I think it's just so awkward.
It is. It's so he's in that I want to say junior to senior year of high school range where you're
Mhm.
just like, you gonna get it together, bud? Is that the look you're going with? Okay.
And the sides grow in patchy. They
Oh,
do.
completely. He has to manscape so much, like,
It's
just
not worth
get
it.
that.
It's not. worth it. Haru, what are you doing?
Oh gosh. I wanted to know if the writers thought maybe introducing him like that would be like, "Oh, hey, a new love interest?" It's like, "No, not there."
I wanna know what the thought process is on, like, you know, they're like, "Okay, we're bringing all these characters back. Everybody pretty much looks the same." Like, not even the Duke grew, but, like,
Yeah, exactly.
Haru and a mustache?
Yeah. So
Excuse
you
me?
could have made the Duke taller. You could
Yeah,
have
like,
given him anything.
you
No,
know.
he needs more calcium in his life. Just a little bit more. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. So, because I want to get your opinion on Sokka's jitters, I guess would
Mhm.
be the best way to describe it. Because I would have thought, like, going back and watching it, like, most of these people he knows. Actually, all of these people he knows. Like, would have
Yeah,
thought he would have
I
been a little bit
think
more comfortable.
I don't think it's so much like him being comfortable with who he's talking to, but I think it's more like the gravity of the situation of this invasion was kind of like his idea. You know, if you think back to the library, like he was the one that was really gunning to like get the information and stuff like that. And then everything that happened with the Earth Kingdom and no longer having like the five generals and the Earth Kingdom backing it, you know, it has been Sokka's idea, and it was Sokka's idea to like have his dad and Bato go pick up like all these different people. So I think it's like the gravity of the situation of like this is his idea. Yeah, like the Avatar is gonna be able to do like his thing, but the invasion itself is almost his responsibility. And so it's like if this fails, I'm responsible for all these people. And that's a
I like
lot.
that interpretation. See, for me, I'm just like, oh, anxiety with public speaking. I'm on TV. There's no such thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it might be that, but I
I
think he even
definitely
says
like yours
something.
better.
Yeah, I think he even says something about, like, "I'm not a good enough leader,"
Mm,
and stuff like that, and so I don't wonder if he's just, like, suddenly realizing how real it all is, and
mhm,
now he's responsible for all these people, and I think he kinda figures that out, like, towards the end of the first episode, you know, when he sees his dad get hurt, and he's like, "Okay,
mhm,
somebody needs to step up, and I'll do it," and so he very easily, like, in the moment was able to, like, react, but I think in this moment, since it was so quiet and, you know, everybody's looking at him, he was just like,
mhm, mhm.
"Oh."
Panic attack.
Yeah. Also him being like, "Let me just start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Me and my sister could talk."
Wow. When he said beginning, he meant
In the
beginning.
beginning.
That's fantastic. I would have been sitting there crisscross applesauce, like, okay, let's hear it, because yeah, I want to know how did this
And
all
this
work?
moment also is like, I 100% relate to Sokka in this moment because if I have to, like, get up and, like, you know, talk to people or something like that, I would be like, "Ugh, let me just start from the beginning." So I was born in
If it's in chronological order, it's easy to
Yeah,
follow.
yeah. Like, you need all this information to understand what's happening.
Perfect. Now, I Time Prophet says Southern accent is okay. Just didn't think it fit the swamp people. See, I think that comes from being in America and born and raised in good old Michigan. Southern accent and swamp people's perfect for me.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like a Louisiana not 100% Louisiana, but, like, I would assume that that's, like, where the
Like
inspiration was coming from.
Florida Everglades meets
Yeah,
Missouri or Mississippi Delta region.
yeah, just all of that.
Oh, and Time Prophet has seen Gone with the Wind with the full-on Southern accents. Yes. And do you think that the Fire Nation should have had Japanese accents? Ooh, that would have been an interesting interpretation. Which also, they're taking on the Fire Nation. They have what? There's a row of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. They got maybe less than 100 guys and gals, I'm assuming, too, to
Yeah,
fight.
I have, like, a serious question because they're talking about, like, okay, they're gonna need to get to, like, the palace city by the time the start of the eclipse, so then they have to have all this, you know, time and I like, okay, that makes sense, but it's just, like, the whole plan hinges on, like, Aang defeating the Fire Lord in whatever aspect that is supposed to, like,
Mm.
take form, um
Which no one talks about, by the way. We'll get to that,
oh,
though.
yeah, but, like, it's not it's not like just taking out the Fire Lord would solve all their problems.
Yeah, exactly. You have a systemic problem
Yeah,
with the Fire
and, like,
Nation.
as a kid, you're like, "Of course this is how it's gonna work." Um,
It's like taking down the Team Rocket leaders in Pokemon. You're just like,
yeah.
yeah, the whole
Yeah, yeah,
organization's
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
dissolve.
Yep, that's it. That's how it works. Get rid of the big bad Fire Lord and everybody's good. Um, so yeah,
Oh, it's such an innocent mindset, isn't it? It's great.
it
But no,
is.
so we get through like the talking, and Sokka kind of has a little bit of a flub up, but
I do wanna say one thing
oh
real
yes,
fast. We
do it.
need a comic or a mini series of Hakoda and Bato gathering everybody. Because
Yes.
I like to think that, they start with, like, the Mechanist or something, and they're like, "Okay, that guy
Uh,
was kinda kooky, but, he's okay." And then, like, they go get Haru, and they're like, "Okay, these people are pretty normal."
yeah.
And then they get to the swamp people, and they're just like,
Uh. They get their own swamp hallucinations. They're just like, okay, Sokka, we don't find him in 5 minutes. We're leaving.
yeah, and then, like, after the swamp people, then they, like, go pick up the hippo and the boulder, and, they're just like, and and Bato is like, "At this point, I don't know, Hakoda.
Yeah.
It's your son."
Yeah, exactly. He's your son, Hakoda. I need that. I need. I don't know who here is good at fan fiction writing, but get on it.
Mhm. And then
uh,
another thing, the only waterbenders they have is the swamp people. Like, they didn't get anybody from, like, the northern tribe?
did they? Because well, let me see. Hold on. Oh, my computer froze. Now we're back. Okay, so yeah, that looks like Southern
I assume that that's
Water
just, like,
Tribe.
the people that Hakoda and Bato have been traveling with for years. Like, that's
Yeah,
all, like, southern. And
they
then
look
everybody
like
else
they're.
looks like they're Earth Kingdom.
Yeah, well, there's a Mechanist kid. I can see him.
Yeah,
Mechanist is there. So that's probably from their little sect in the Northern Air Temple.
sure.
Then you got
Those are, like,
um
Earth Kingdom soldiers. That's, like, Pipsqueak.
yeah, Pipsqueak and the Duke and the Hippo and them. And then
And
this is
then
probably
that's
just Haru and
yeah, and
his
then we
family.
have the
And yeah,
swamp people.
wait, there's only 4 eh, 10 swamp people.
I mean, I don't think that they're that many, that vast, but, that's all you
I
need.
thought they had a vast network,
No,
a
no, no, no,
criminal
no, 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 no.
enterprise in
What you
that
fail to
swamp.
see is that the swamp people are all highly calculated and well-trained warriors.
Yes, they are. And they come packing crazy, which is the most amazing thing to have in battle.
Mhm.
Let's see. Would Hakoda be welcome at the Northern Tribe? Ooh, good question, Rapunzel.
Why wouldn't he be?
I I feel like wasn't there was hostility with Master Paku, sort of with Katara, but that was mainly because she was a girl.
Yeah, because, like, when Katara and Sokka go to the northern tribe, they're like, "We will welcome our brother and sister from the southern tribe, who we've been, like, separated from for a long time." And so it was like, this cool thing. So I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think
I
I'm
don't know,
mixing
maybe.
up Korra's dad.
Yeah, I am probably too, because I seem to recall there was like some sort of bad blood
Yeah.
somewhere. Eh, well, I imagine his charisma would carry him far into the Northern
Yeah,
Tribe.
Hakoda could get into, like, anything. He could have walked into the Fire Nation Palace if they just, you know,
Yeah,
really needed him to.
exactly. Also, Time Prophet brings up surely the Fire Nation could easily be defeated by Earthbenders as their ships are made out of either wood or metal. But most Earthbenders only Toph knows how to metal bend right now, which we get to see in a very fun way when they get to a bunker. But before even that, you get the establishment of Aang is back. And this scene as a kid was my ASMR. It was I was like, "Oh, that's so satisfying. He gets it all in one go." Like, and this is little Katie who's like, "Oh, I'm going to have to learn how to shave. It looks easy." It's not.
I
That
was
would
about to say.
hurt.
I was about to say.
Like, he's not even using water or shaving cream. Like, dude, learn how to firebend just so you can burn it off. Like, just maybe that's how Zuko had such a clean cut.
Maybe.
He does that Turkish haircut where it just burns the
Wow.
maybe.
What a
But yeah,
thought.
you go to a Fire Nation barber and they just light your head on fire, it'd be perfect. But we do haircut and amazing ASMR aside, we get to see that Aang is finally like back. He is no longer in that the scruffy hair kind of in hiding. He is just
Yeah, and I actually really love this moment because like it's obviously like it's like a quiet moment. Like, okay, he's finally like shaving his hair and like, he gets to be back and everybody's gonna know that the Avatar's back after this. And like he's like being like all tough and like really serious. And then there's a koala sheep just walks up and then he just pats it and he's like, and you're just like, oh, okay, well that's so cute because here he is being all serious, but like he's still just Aang. And
exactly.
I think that it made me like pause and think of like as terms of like Aang being the Avatar, like he really does bring like this nice balance of like staying true to himself, but also showing up and doing what the world needs him to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the koala sheep kind of it reminded me of like lambs and their significance in culture and writing of how they're like very innocent, very sweet, and like just baby lambs. And so that kind of it worked for me with them being side by side there because it's like he is going into battle, but at the same time, he's still a sweet little kid. So it's a very good little few seconds that it took to get that message across. It's just beautiful. The lamb could have been Sokka's hat. No, Time Prophet, no. Where does he keep his shaving kit? He has no pockets. Did he go out and buy a shaving kit? That would have been I need all these details. I need all the dramatics. Everything. But yeah, so we get to see them. We're gonna go. We've alluded to a special invention, and then the true tests start coming. And I love this sequence of events. Just you have these gates that initiate the submarine that initiate this. It's like putting together. Honestly, it's like putting together a Thomas the Tank Engine set for me. You're just like, let me just make a hill right here, and I can attach a bridge to this, and I can do this and this, and like that's what I think the writers' room was like. It's like, okay, I want to do this. Okay, but then we can do this. Oh, and then we can do this. It's just it flows so well.
It does. Like they really had it all like figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's actually kind of bittersweet because I think a lot of times, I mean, obviously we don't really know because we don't get to see a lot of like the 100-year war other than, what we're seeing right now. But if the Water Tribe and the Earth Kingdom just kind of, talk to each other, like they're called the Gates of Azulon, which means they haven't been up this entire time.
Yeah.
Because Azulon is born pretty late in the game.
Yeah.
And which means he doesn't become the Fire Lord until pretty late in the game.
That is such a good point.
So it's just like, guys, if we just I think this is like the pivotal of like if everybody just actually showed up to the group meetings, the group project would get done.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And now we're here, the crunch time.
It's like, well, I guess we're just gonna have to blitz on through this.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, that the Avatar was gone, but come on, guys.
We could have done this on our own.
Yeah, like,
oh man, it's so true. It's so true. But yeah, we get to see this invasion that honestly probably should have taken place. Maybe it did try to take place, and then Azulon was like,
maybe that's why we have the gates. Who knows? There's 100 years. We don't know. But I'm still just saying, like.
Well, I love that going into the gates, or getting under the gates, we get to see this submersible tech. Like this, if I was the Fire Nation, I would have had my mind blown.
Yeah,
I
like,
guess
they're
I'm easily
really
impressed.
no, and I think that it's really interesting to, like, see, like, how submarines and then also, like, the torpedoes
Mm.
work,
Yes!
like, according to, like, the bending styles. Like, this is all like, the beginning of the invasion was so heavily on the water on their water benders, and so I'm like,
Mhm.
"Why do we not have more water benders?"
Exactly, come on, there's gotta be more of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and it's heavy on the waterbenders, like, for necessity of making it all function, but what's really was great for me as a non-bender in real life was how they relied on the non-benders. You have Sokka and Hakoda who are leading this charge, and then you have the Mechanist who's creating all the things that are allowing them to charge in the first place. Like,
Mhm,
it shows that you don't have to be a bender and do all that magic in this world to actually make magic and invade the Fire Nation, which as a kid I never really paid much attention to. I was like, oh, flashing fire and wind and now I appreciate things more, which is why I do this show. Because little Katie's memories cannot be trusted going forward.
I'm just thinking about, like, how they manufactured these subs because obviously the mechanists made them, which means the people that live with the mechanists probably helped, but they lived in an air temple.
Yeah, where'd the metal come from?
Well, yeah, well, like that, and then also, like, where did they build these things? And also,
Yeah, how'd they
it's not like it's
transport?
been that long.
That man was doing all-nighters, just one after the other. Because well, he was making these things too, not to get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah,
it was like, that's a lot to build.
yeah, like, how? And I get that it's a kid's show, and we shouldn't be picking it apart this much, and it's really not that big of a deal, but I still just have questions.
Yeah, exactly, they are reasonable questions, and I think within the realm of Avatar, they did a pretty good job of still, like, sticking with, it being reasonable that they have to go up above the water, they have to get fresh air, like,
Mhm.
they stuck to science in a decent enough way, and it was able to give us this scene.
Yeah, what do you think of this scene? Like, from, like, Qatar's perspective?
I think she wasn't expecting it for sure.
Mhm,
And I think it's kind of that, like, she had a bit of a crush on him. He's had a bit of a crush on her, but they've not really talked about it.
mhm,
And I think this is the first time that we get to see them actually really slow down and be like, "Oh, you aren't that goofy kid I found in the iceberg anymore," sort of a thing.
mhm.
And it just, that increase in maturity and reflection, it feels like the right time for it, and I think she probably liked it, so, yeah.
I think that, like I don't know, cause like, right after the kiss, like, there's, like, this slight moment where she's almost, like, disappointed. Like,
I
I
don't
don't
know if it's
know, like, there's, like,
disappointment
this
so much
moment
as
where she's just
worry.
like, "Maybe so." I don't know, cause I guess he is really talking like, "I might not come back."
And I think that, like, him kissing her and she knows, like, how, there hasn't really been that in their relationship yet. It was a shock, like, he wanted to get this out of the way in case he dies.
Mhm,
And that kind of puts a fear in your mind. At least that's how I thought.
yeah. I don't know, like, I think yeah, like, in this moment, she is coming to, like, terms of, like, yeah, she does actually like him that way and everything like that, but I don't think she was there yet.
I think yeah, he was maybe a step or two ahead of her
Mhm,
in, like, willingness to advance it.
mhm.
Which makes sense since he's, like, going off into battle and he's like, "Oh, I'm
Yay.
going up against Fire Lord, so might as well shoot my shot."
I don't know, like, there just seems like there's, like, this little moment where she's just like, I wish that hadn't happened," or, like, "I wish
Mhm.
that like, I wanted it to happen, but I didn't want it to happen that way," or so I don't
Like
know.
this. Yeah, in
Yeah.
this moment, like, there has to be, like, a portion of her that's like, "I didn't expect that to happen at this point." Like, I envisioned it would happen at some point, but just not now. So, yeah, I could see that. And I mean, this kicks off the true, like, real invasion that they have going on now. They have Appa, they have the subs, they have the swamp people in the giant seaweed nest, and then you kind of just have Aang on his own. And from a military tactic standpoint, I get why like they decided to do that, but also I'm just like, you're gonna send the world's last hope by himself? Like Aang can carry two people on his glider at least. Pack up the boulder and Katara and just yeet, or like Toph and Katara and go.
Yeah, I guess, but I think he's a lot faster on his own.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would have been able to just blend in really well and just kind of, go for it.
I could see. I'm always asset protection sort of a thing. And it's
I
just like,
suppose. Plus, like, according to them, they think that the Fire Nation thinks that the Avatar is dead. So they're not gonna be looking for anybody.
oh, I forgot that point. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So, like, Aang being by like, well, what's faster than a soul airbender? Probably
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, true. He is lightning. He's
Yeah.
speed. And yes, Time Prophet, it is he manipulates the wind around the glider to allow him to.
Yep.
And if you let go of his earthly attachments, he can do it by himself. Woo.
Well, he
Uh,
likes Katara too much. And Appa. Actually, there
no.
is a theory that the reason why the air nomads all air nomads used to be able to fly, but the moment that they started bonding with the air bison, that attached them to the earth, and so they lost the ability. And that's
I
adorable.
love it.
Can you
I love
imagine
that
just
one.
like being that into your pet?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely. Doppler radar, heck yes. Besides, they can fly, so it's like, buddy system. Now we're bonded for life. That's so cool. It would help if they had more flying for everyone, but
Mhm.
as we find out later, that just isn't gonna happen. But yeah, so we get to the invasion, and as of all the screen grabs, there's so many that you can pick from of them going through that battle area with the giant turrets and stuff. I just want to point out they had undulating asperatus clouds mixed in, and they had like little gravity waves, and like all throughout this episode they had so many good clouds and they actually stuck to science. I was so happy. Like, forget the invasion force and the cool little wolf hats, like, no, clouds, bruh.
Clouds.
That's why, that's the best. Which also, that's a pretty overcast sky, and then it just kind of clears up so they can see the eclipse, like weather ex machina sort of a thing. Like, okay, fine, we'll just clear out the clouds when we can. But oh, let me see, where on earth are we going? Because Katie can't think. There we go. Belly flop Appa. This one shows you got the mechanic. I think the mechanic, he was in one of these trucks, right?
Yeah, he's like in one of those. Yeah, because he was like driving it and it like gets hit and then like it like kind of explodes and then it's like this. Like it's like at an angle and he
Right.
just continues to drive it.
That's honestly so smart to get all of the earth, because you don't know if they've covered everything in metal.
Mhm.
Bring in earth, bring in the water. Like, they had this planned out. It should have
He
worked.
really did.
My opinion, it should have worked.
I think it would have worked, but the earth came blabbed. And,
Mhm.
you know,
Well, do you think that they might have thought that they'd do an invasion by themselves? Because clearly Iroh knew, and I don't think he was privy to that information about the invasion plan.
how does
So,
Iroh
like,
know?
well, Iroh knew about the Day of Black Sun and, like, planned his escape then.
Oh,
So, like,
okay,
he knew
yeah.
that they'd be vulnerable. So
Mhm.
wouldn't it serve to think that the Fire Nation would have known that they're vulnerable? And might wanna cover, like, just
I
just in
think
case someone found out about it?
yeah, like obviously I think the Fire Nation would have like protected themselves, but we don't really know when like the last eclipse was. And
Mm,
like given like the current state of the world, like again, nobody's talking to each other.
right.
So like
No mass communication,
yeah, and so
just
like
talks.
the water tribe is pretty much hunkered. That's why there's no northern water tribe because they're like really hunkered down. Like they don't
Mm.
That's why they've been able that's why.
They probably wouldn't wanna leave the
Yeah.
Northern Water
Yeah.
Tribe, yeah.
Yeah. And so then, like, the Earth Kingdom is pretty much just in shambles because, like, there's again, like, there's really nothing to, like, unite, like, the whole Earth Kingdom
Mhm.
together.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, like, if somebody does know, I think the only people that really would know would be the White Lotus, and I don't think they're big enough
Yeah.
to do something.
True. Yeah, they'd have to reveal themselves in order to actually get something done,
Yeah,
which
so, like, I could see, like, the Fire Nation being like, "Okay, everybody be on your guard," stuff like that, but I think the only reason why this plan of attack didn't work is, again,
Mhm.
because the Earth King, when Azula was there, he, like, mentions it, and she's like, "Oh, that's very interesting," and all these
It's
things.
like, "Hmm, I just
Mm.
got some very important details."
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so then, they can just, be like, "Hee hee, hoo hoo, we know."
Da-da-da. Oh, yeah. No, well, I mean, considering that they knew, they didn't seem quite as prepared. Like, you have this main gauntlet that they have to go up and everything, but it's not like they had hundreds and hundreds of soldiers. Like, they had
Well,
turrets.
did they not I think they more or so, like, luring them into a false sense of security. Because
Okay, making
if
them
they put
think.
up a really big fight and kept them at the beach, then they could have retreated probably a lot easier.
Hmm.
But I think the Fire Nation is willing to understand that whatever attack is going to happen like these are like the last people we really got to worry. Like this is going to be the best of the
Mhm.
best. So if we can capture them or take them out permanently,
Ah,
so like just
they
like
went with
the more
the
they can get
European.
inland, the more they're gonna be trapped, and,
Yep. They went with
so
the European stretch them out and encircle sort of
Sure,
style thing.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch too many history videos while getting ready for work. Uh, I really do. Extra credits, look them up. They are fantastic. That's how I learned about the bubonic plague.
Yay.
But yeah, no, this I couldn't find a good screen grab of Hakoda jumping in and getting blown up.
Mhm.
But how do they have a combustion bender in there? Because I didn't see him have any hand grenades on him. Like, how did it explode?
I mean, you saw that he had, like, the grenades earlier, because like, they threw
Right.
some in, so, like, who's to say that he didn't have some in, like, a satchel, and then
Oh,
just the
maybe a firebender caught the
firebending.
size. Yeah.
Yeah. Or who's to say that there weren't
That makes sense.
explosives in inside the little whatever it's called,
Oh, the
the name.
turret?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, we'll call it a turret.
Well, a little turret.
Inside the turret, and then, that caused more of an
Mm.
explosion.
Now, depend regardless of the explosion, did you think rather, watching it, that they were gonna kill Hakoda as a kid?
I don't think so, no. I was just like, "Oh, he's hurt. Moving on."
I was like, "They already killed their mom. I don't think they're gonna kill the dad."
Well, I think it's just more so, like, as a kid, there's so much going on that I just wouldn't even stop to think. Like, I would just be
Mm.
like, "Wow, there's, like, a whole 'nother, like, 20 minutes to this."
Yeah. I still got so much to watch.
Yeah, like, you're just, like, in awe. And
Mhm.
so, that's why I'm, like, kind of a little low-key jealous of, like, the people who get to watch the show as an adult or
Yes.
older than what I was when I watched it, because it's just
Mhm.
like I feel like these beats would hit different, and now
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen it so many times, I know what's happening, and, like, things still are new to me, which I think is very
Mhm.
interesting, but, like, this moment of, like, "Oh, will Hakoda actually die?" Like, I just watch it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, yeah,
Yep. Now we
moving
good.
on."
Yeah. Oh, we gotta do a welcome to our cult, and just get some adults who haven't seen Avatar before, and just really have fun with that, because I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, this going from Hakoda, I think, yeah, as a kid and even now, it's like, oh, they just needed to give Sokka the chance to take over and live up to what Aang was saying about you're gonna prove yourself out there on the battlefield.
Mhm.
So yeah, not too worried about Hakoda. He's with Katara. She'll stitch him up. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Yeah, you really do get to see Sokka just take over. And I think Sokka's problem is very similar to mine, where I just can't overthink things because then
Mhm.
I get in my own head. So it's just like, yeah, throw a tornado in front of me. I will go into action mode. It'll be great. Leading up to it, I'm going to be overthinking everything, but it'll
Yeah.
be fine once it's actually happening, sort of a
Mhm.
vibe. Speaking of which, Rapunzel, you still there? Make sure that you don't have a tornado in your neighborhood. But yeah, no, the invasion really made me like Sokka more. Just like I loved him as a goofball, but this made me appreciate him as like a warrior.
Yeah.
Also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just believe it like, you just get to see that, like, oh, he's, like, really grown up.
Hmm. He really is, and it's kind of foreshadowing him taking over for his father eventually, like we hear about in Korra,
Mhm.
and uh, that just gives me all the warm fuzzies. Like he does fine for himself. Ah, good, Rapunzel's still here. Love to
Heck
see it.
yeah.
So before we get further into the invasion, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Iroh,
Mhm.
womanizer himself. Uh, I love this so much. He's just, I think you should take the rest of the day off. You don't look well. Oh, I'm fine. He's just like,
"Oh, no, you
take
should go.
the day off.
Take a you
I
day."
I like that he trusts her enough to be like, "Yeah, yeah, like, I want you to be safe," but also at the same time, "Dude, don't risk them moving you to a more secure cell, like, she could blab. That's a risk, Iroh."
Yeah.
But that it led to a fan theory of mine, kind of.
Ooh.
Um, it I don't know if it's any good or not, but, I thought, what if she was the daughter of a White Lotus member?
Mm.
And so he wanted to protect her and just, you know, it's a very shallow fan theory, but it's a theory nonetheless.
It is a
Woo.
theory nonetheless.
Oh, let's see. Time Promise says, "See, Iroh is Japanese, and all their clothes and styles is Japanese." Yes, it is very heavily influenced. Actually, I'll be talking about that in the fan art portion. And
Yeah, I
Rapunzel
think
says, "Oh, go ahead."
I was to say, I just think I do think the Fire Nation is, like, solely based on, like, Japanese culture.
Mhm. Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
And Rapunzel is right. I should not refer to him as Iroh. He is Swolro.
He is.
And that also leads to some fan art, which my gosh, I've been holding on to it since since the hot tub scene when he was like sitting there lounging and then
That's
he
been
got taken by the.
forever.
It has been on my file in the bottom right corner for like years now. It feels. I see it every time I log on. It's great. But yes, we have that nice little subplot of Iroh, and then we also have the subplot of Zuko, who does not have a lot of screen grabs of himself.
Oh, how
Who
rude.
would have thought? So we're just gonna we're gonna get this one while
That's
we
fine.
talk about him.
That's
But
fine. Okay,
I
thoughts first and foremost.
yeah,
Thoughts about him just breaking up with May.
didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
He did not have to.
He
She
did
would have
not
loved
have
him
to.
regardless.
Yeah, she might have even loved him more, you know?
Yes.
He could have just been like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going away for a bit. I don't know if I'm gonna
Mhm.
be back. I still really like you. We'll
Yeah.
see." You know?
Exactly. I think in his mind, he was trying to protect her. And that way, like, if someone came after her, it's like, your boyfriend Trey's a
I
traitor. It's like, he broke up with me.
I suppose, yeah. Okay, that makes
Like, in
sense
his
because,
own
like,
way.
he's still she's obviously still friends with Azula, and so
Yeah.
Azula might not have let up on that.
Hmm. Well, and he might not,
Okay.
if we get to, well, if we get down to like an emotional, like, relationship level, at this point, Zuko doesn't know if she would choose him or Azula.
Yeah.
If she would choose his path or her path,
Mhm.
and we eventually find out. That's always fun. But, yeah, I guess in my mind, it always kinda made sense why he did it, but I'm screaming at him like, "You idiot! You didn't
I
have
think it's
to
also
do
just, like
that!"
I think it's also just, like, such, like, a little teenage boy thing to do.
It
and it's
is, yeah.
adorable because as much as we like forget that like Sokka and Katara, are kids, and so is Aang and Toph. uh,
Mm.
Zuko's still, he's still so baby.
He's just a kid and life is a nightmare.
Yeah.
That song was written for him. That and Teenagers was written for Azula. My
Mm.
Chemical Romance, that is Azula's anthem. Uh, Rapunzel Swallow lives rent in my head rent free. He lives on my computer rent free too. I don't think I'm gonna be moving him for a while. And Time of Prophet says, "You would think firebenders would have asbestos skin." Ooh, I mean, they'd probably die very young, but it'd be a repellent to. But yeah, so for you, what did you think about Zuko's decision as far as like at this point in the story deciding now is the time to go with Aang?
I think like it's a very natural progression. Like I don't think it comes as much of a shock because we've really only seen him be happy in the Fire Nation maybe like once. And that was like leading up to like the war meeting that they were getting ready to have.
Mhm.
And like, he was like kind of content and all this stuff. And then especially like with how the episode before this ends where he's just like, I was the perfect soldier. I was the perfect prince, but I wasn't myself. And it's just like
Mhm.
in that moment, you like just think back to season 2 and where you're almost kind of like rooting for Zuko to stick with Aang and be like, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 yeah. Then it
Do
doesn't
it.
happen. So then like here you're just like all excited. And then even going back into
Mhm.
like season 1, like the blue spirit where Aang's like, if things were different, do you think that we would be friends?
Mhm.
And just like laying that seed. So like
Yep.
this isn't gonna blindside anybody.
Yeah. No,
And I think that
I
it's
love it.
it's really sweet too because he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab my uncle and we're gonna
Yes! Yes! Like, and the fact he's going back for Iroh. He's
yeah.
not just like, "I'm gonna go and do this on my own." He's like, "I need my support, uncle. Get over here." It's so sweet, and you're right, they do lay the seeds of doubt, starting
Mhm.
out with the blue spirit, and then you see it in the Crossroads of Destiny, how close he was to just going with Aang,
Yeah.
and now, since then, he has been living with that choice, and probably has been thinking about, "What if I done this differently? How would this be different? Blah, 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 blah." Because we know he's an analytical mind, and that's where minds go, and in that
Mhm.
sense, he's very similar to Sokka. But the evolution felt so natural with Zuko. It always has. I think
Yeah.
he's one of the best evolved characters story-wise, and his arc is just incredible, and this is really that entrance into the final act of, "Let's
Mhm.
go!"
Yeah. When he's talking to Ozai, does he say that like he's gonna like join up with the Avatar, or does he just say that he's
Yes.
going? Okay, he does. Okay, I couldn't really remember because then I was like, yeah, like his whole plan is to go get Iroh, and then he goes and
Mhm,
Iroh isn't there. So then it's like
mhm,
in that moment, like his plan has just fallen apart, and
mhm.
as it
Yeah,
often does for Zuko, poor Zuko. Uh,
poor guy. Yeah, I
I
think he
can't
said
catch a
he's
break.
like, "I'm gonna go and free my uncle, and then I'm going to go help the Avatar to stop you." Sort of a I'm paraphrasing here, but yeah, something similar to that.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
So
okay.
and it's such a
So
good speech.
it is, and I really like the part where he's talking about like how the Fire Nation has served the world, like or its people more so, like the
Mhm,
the citizens of the Fire Nation, like the greatest lie of like how we're the best, and
mhm,
we're spreading all this good things to the rest of the
mhm,
world and all this stuff, and like he's seen it like firsthand, like no, we're not, like people fear us, like
mhm,
and I think that that's so beautiful. Like
mhm.
he's just like seen it and he's just like, this is wrong. And then I think
Yep.
he says something along the lines of like, we need to like bring forth like an era of peace and stuff like that, where
Mhm,
I don't know exactly what he says, but he's just talking about like how the people of the Fire Nation can like heal and like make things right.
mhm.
And so I think that I've never caught that before, like this whole speech that
Oh,
he
really?
has, and stuff like that. Because I think like usually when I watch this, I'm just like so hyped about like everything that else is going. Plus, like this speech is happening while like they're talking to Azula. Like the rest of the game's like
Exactly.
talking, and so like like I love that sequence, and so I think I always like halfway watch this. So when I was watching this, yesterday for the stream, I was like, Zuko, oh, baby boy.
Look at you. Oh, the comparison between Azula and the gang and Zuko and the Fire Lord, like they're both fighting enemies,
Mhm.
which are pretty much carbon copies of each other. Like Azula is, I'd say, just as diabolical as her father.
Yeah, and I always really liked like Zuko's getting ready to walk away. Like the eclipse is still
Mhm.
happening. And Ozai knows exactly what to say. Well, don't you want to know what
Mhm.
happened to your mother? Because
Oh.
like you're like, oh my gosh, like I know that Azula is controlling, and obviously we think Ozai is controlling as well. But like just to like have that like pinpoint, like Ozai has just been sitting on that.
He
He's like, you know
has,
what?
hasn't he?
I'm gonna need this one day. I don't know when, but I'm gonna need it.
It is so
And
brutal.
he's just stalling for time so that he can just wipe Zuko off the face of the planet. A little lightning here, little zap
Hesitate.
zap.
Oh man, yeah, like this scene, because we don't know a whole lot about the Fire Lord. A lot of what we see and is just him interacting like with, well, not a lot of people actually. We just get
Mhm,
little snippets of him. And so this is that first real full conversation that we've had that outside stimuli out, the entire outside world tells us he's a horrible person, and this is like, yeah, I'm just going to straight up murder my son. Not too hard to solidify in the viewer's minds that he's awful.
mhm.
So, oh man, I got so into that I choked on myself. We're good. We're good. This scene, I
Mhm.
love it so much. Like of everything in this episode, there's so many things to love. But the reaction of Zuko being able to like lightning blast him back, just because the Fire Lord doesn't know he can do that.
Yeah. Do you
I
think
realized on this
Ozai
watch,
even
like,
knows that Iroh can do it?
I doubt it. Because
Okay.
if Iroh learned it, I don't think he'd want to share with him. So, and that's just being siblings. Like you want to have a one up on them.
I guess, but Azula knows that Iroh can do it because Iroh does it when Azula character is like introduced.
Oh, yeah, maybe
So like
like when he
I,
grabs
I
her
think they
fingers.
know of like the technique. But yeah, I suppose Ozai doesn't know that Zuko knows how to do it.
Yeah, like well, and maybe they just think because he's the Dragon of the West, like he's really good.
Yeah.
Uh, Zuko's nothing special. Like they've always thought that, so they
Mm.
probably didn't think he was capable of it if they did know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very, very nice scene, and I just love how at the end you just see the Fire Lord fuming. He's just like, "Oh, that's gonna come back to bite me." I don't know why I went with that one, but that's what I imagine his internal voice is. It's just like, "You better kill Zuko." I don't know. It is
Good
also cool
try.
to hear the Joker come out a little bit
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
undertones here with his voice acting. But yes, so we get that one, but we also get the iconic Azula face down with Sokka and Aang and Toph, and just epic. When they
Like
pulled that the Dai Li, I did not remember that
I oh, you don't remember that?
at all.
Oh. I love this sequence. It's fantastic. Like and I think it goes to show, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but like yes, Azula obviously is a very powerful firebender,
Mhm.
but what makes her dangerous is how controlling she can be of the situation and how she fully understands a situation and her ability to go, I can't win this fight, so I'm a dip out. Or like to
Mhm.
have these things in place to, because like if you watch the show, especially like throughout season 2, like yes, like there are moments where she's fighting and you're like, wow, she's such a powerful bender. But when it really comes down to it, she's not putting forth effort in a fight that she knows she can't win. And I think that's
Mhm.
what makes Azula such a great villain.
Oh, yeah. Is when the villain just is like, I'm superior to you in my thinking that I don't even have to beat you
No,
physically."
it's not even that. Like it's more so like I know that I can't win physically and like that's okay. Like but a battle isn't always won by a punch. And
Mhm.
so having a and a 14-year-old at that understand
Yeah,
like
14!
listen, the Avatar wouldn't have survived if Azula was the Fire Lord. Okay? That's all I'm
Oh
gonna say.
gosh, no.
Like
He would've been gone. Oh, yeah. She's just you forget so easily, like, that she's a child. As
Mhm.
because 'cause isn't she the same age as Sokka? Or
Sokka's
younger?
15. I think
So she's
Azula's the same age
younger.
as Katara, so 14.
Holy crap. It goes to show when you let them wear makeup early, they look older. No, but
uh,
we do get oh, so go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, it is very cool that we get to see the Dai Li agents, and I brought something back from Bossing.
Mhm.
But I do have a question. Why do you think May and Ty Lee aren't here?
Oh, I haven't thought about that. Would May would probably be with her parents trying to protect them,
I suppose.
maybe.
But also, it's
Ty
just
Lee,
like
though.
Azula is Azula, and like she'd be like, okay, well, that's cute, but you're gonna come with me anyways. So like,
True.
like
Maybe do they have a bunch of bunkers and they're kinda like final bosses, and each of them has their own bunker?
maybe the plan wasn't. Maybe the plan was to just stall until the eclipse was over, and then they're banking on the fact that the Avatar is like, okay, well, I'm here. I don't know if I'm gonna get another chance, so I'll just go ahead and face the Fire
Mhm.
Lord. And so it was just like this moment for Ozai to take out the Fire Lord. He's the Avatar.
Well, that and I think Azula thinks she's most efficient when she's on her own.
I don't think that.
Really?
Yeah.
'Cause like, in her battles and stuff, she leads the way. She kinda does her own thing, and May and Ty Lee are kinda just there as support, and they
Yeah,
never
like
really, like,
they're
combine their efforts, like, there's no flaming darts or
yes, but I think Azula doesn't even think that she's like that much of a threat when it comes down to a fight. Because if you think
Okay.
back to Bossing Say and like the Crossroads of Destiny, that's why I think she's bidding so much for Zuko to join her side because she
Oh.
knows she can't face the Avatar and Katara at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
Even with the Dai
Mhm.
Li, like she's like she needs somebody else. Or
Yeah.
she needed somebody like, if things did go south, she needed a fall guy. So maybe
Mhm.
that's why she's bidding so much for Zuko in that moment. But I think there are like other key like when she's alone in which one is it? It's the chase where like they're in that
Mhm.
abandoned
Oh,
like
yeah, and she's
like
in the
she
corner.
knows she can take Aang because he's tired and she's
Yeah.
well rested. But the moment that more and more people she's like, okay, she can cut her losses. So,
Mhm.
like, I don't think Azula on her own is that formidable, and I think she understands that, and I think that's what gives her that
Hmm.
edge.
Okay. I like that. Do you think maybe on some distant planet of a thought in her mind that she actually cares about May and Ty Lee's well-being and might think that they would get hurt? And she's like,
Yeah, I think so, especially after the beach. Like, I think there is even,
"Mm,
like, a theory that Azula cares about Tylee the most because Azula, like, in the beach episode, she makes some kinda comment and kinda, like, makes fun of Ty Lee, and then,
Mhm.
like, in the moment, you can kind of almost see her, like, regret it, like, "Oh my gosh, I actually I
Yeah.
didn't mean to say it." So, like
I am so sorry, bro.
yeah, yeah. So, like, she doesn't necessarily like, yes, she likes May and stuff like that, but I think once May starts dating Zuko, she kinda, like, cuts her losses on May, so then, yes, like,
Yep.
does she not want Ty Lee to get hurt? Maybe so. But
Mhm.
there was just, like, these moments, especially, like, because Azula is so acrobatic in this fight scene that I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I wonder if, like, Ty Lee, like, taught her that or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that," and then I was like,
Like
"Wait a second!"
that's a Ty Lee move right there
Yeah,
too.
yeah, and I'm like, "Wait
We've
a second,
seen this.
wait a second."
Oh, yeah. She's probably been taking, like, some gymnastics lessons just to enhance herself. As you say, like, if she doesn't think she can win those fights, she's probably gonna take everything she can that'll make her better. Like, that's
Yeah,
just the grind and drive mentality, so and
yeah.
Time Prophet does say, the evil women look older too. That's why I'll always be a child. The rage is latent, guys. You gotta keep it under the skin. But yes, this, do you know how many people ship them because of this one
Yeah, I can
image?
believe it. I can believe it.
So many. Like, it's quite ridiculous actually on the internet, but,
Listen, Azula only loves Chen. That's it. That's it.
yeah, there you go. She only has eyes for him. Although, you do get another little bit of a I guess kind of a spicier scene. This whole sequence really just pops
Yeah.
up so much in their fan art.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey,
but
you know
but
what?
it
The internet will always be the internet, Katie.
yes, they will, and I love/hate them for it. But how cold-blooded is this? Well, you have Ozai saying, "Do you wanna know about your mother?" and, like, banishment, and this is the story. She's over here like, "Do you wanna know about Suki and her imprisonment?" Like, they are cut from the same cloth.
They really are. I do have one question for you.
Yes.
So, like, obviously, we know why the Kyoshi warriors aren't there, or at
Mhm.
least some of them. But, like,
Yeah.
it was it's not like all of the Kyoshi warriors were taken. Why
Yeah.
why weren't why didn't Bato and Hakoda go pick up a few?
Weren't
Or,
they
like,
all
does Sokka tell them about it? Be like, "Hey,
I
go pick up some Kyoshi warriors."
uh, maybe so I have a couple of thoughts on that. One, maybe
Mhm,
he didn't want Suki there just because he knew it could fail and, like, he doesn't want her to get hurt.
mhm.
But that's, like I think he'd prefer to have her there. But I think isn't it Suki was just taken prisoner at Boiling Rock because she was the leader and the rest of them were also captured in a different prison?
They
Seem
are,
to recall
they
she
are.
mentioned that. So
Yeah.
when so that
But it's not like Kiyoshi and it's not like Suki and, like, the women that was with her were the only Kyoshi warriors, like, there
oh, I
were
see.
other Kyoshi and, like, I think there's even more than like, Suki's village on Kyoshi Island. Like, I think there's multiple,
Okay.
like, little villages, and then there's
Okay.
Kyoshi warriors all around
So there's,
that.
like, different ones roaming.
Yeah, and so it's just like, why not and also, like, does Sokka know that Suki has been taken? I just think
I don't think he
I
does.
yeah, and so I was just thinking, like,
Yeah.
I almost would have preferred if for, like, obviously, this moment cuts deep where,
Yeah.
like, it cuts really deep, but I remember watching this for the first time, and I think even, like, afterwards 'cause, sometimes I go a long time without watching it, and, like, I'll just, like, forget certain things, and so in a moment, it's just like, "Oh my gosh." So, like, when she's talking about Suki, I remember thinking, like, "Oh my gosh, how did I forget about Suki?"
Yeah.
And, like, what happened there, I almost wish that when, like, everybody else is, like, coming and, we're seeing all these people, I wish that Sokka would have been like, "And did you find Suki and the Kyoshi warriors?" And Hakoda just be like, "We tried, but we just couldn't find him." And, like, just, like, have, like, this, like,
Yeah.
little moment where you're just like, "Oh, yeah, what did happen? Like, when was the last time we
Mhm.
saw" and I feel like it would have cut made this moment cut even deeper.
Exactly, like, he jumps on a boat, he's like,
Just
"Where's Suki?" And he's like, we couldn't find them.
yeah, like, we looked for him, but,
They're
w
roaming around the Earth Kingdom, it's
or
hard to
even
track
just, like,
down."
we just ran out of time, so we weren't able to just, like,
Yeah,
something, just, like, a little sprinkle so that when we but
little nugget.
I guess in the same sense, we were blindsided, and I can't be mad about that.
True. It could have worked either way,
It
which
coulda
is
worked
the
either
beauty
way.
of Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, and, they use up all their time. Oh, fire's back on. Whoosh.
Sounds like the fire's back on.
Such
Yeah.
a good line, such
Yeah, and
amazing
then
delivery.
again, like, once she has her bending back, she doesn't fight them. She's just like, "My dad is down the hallway, secret corridor, blah, 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 stairs.
Yep,
You'll find him on the
bye.
left." And she's like, "Bye."
Yeet. No, oh my gosh. She's just so deliciously evil in this episode.
Yeah.
Amazing. But yeah, we get to the end here. And this isn't even from the end. This is while they're still invading, but
Mhm.
I don't have enough screen grabs. Uh, but we find a very emotional end to this that I wasn't expecting as a kid. I remember being like, wait, they lost?
Yeah.
Like they're retreating, like the subs are blowing up, the swamp people are out of seaweed. They
"What's going on?"
aren't allowed, and you see, oh gosh, I'm pretty sure I did manage to get one picture of this. The airships.
Yes.
I can't
Yes,
find the
because
picture.
that is something that was planted all the way back in season 1, and we haven't thought about it since.
Mhm. It's so amazing. I just, oh my gosh. It the fact that they were able to build, like, we talk about them building these little submarines fast, they built a fleet. Like,
I
what?
don't know, the fleet makes more sense than the submarines being built in a couple of weeks. Because again, like, they get, like, the hot air balloon at the end of the Northern Air Temple, which is, like, the 3rd to last episode in season 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
So then they have, like, all of season 2 to manufacture
Oh,
these things.
yeah, if they have 4, like, metal.
And there's, like, probably factories in the Earth Kingdom just full of prisoners
Yeah.
being put to work. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because I completely forgot they have the infrastructure and, like, the
Yeah,
manufacturing already set
whereas,
up, so
like, the Mechanist, like, he's great, but it's not like they have the infrastructure built like the
what
Fire
if
Nation does.
the factory from the Painted Lady was making metal to build these ships?
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I like
Okay,
that
we're
a
good.
lot. Okay,
Yeah, 2
alright.
for
New
2,
head
baby!
cannon. New head cannon.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
What
Concentrated
is at the
Spuds.
end of the warships? Of, like,
Oh, the pointy
is it
bits?
yeah, like, is it a dragon? Is it a lion turtle?
I think it's a lion turtle,
I thought so.
maybe? Because, that would make sense continuity-wise, like, the lion turtles are shared, as we find out in Korra, like, between all the nations.
Mhm.
So and if it's a
I just
fearsome,
thought it
like,
was
the
interesting that
power.
it was the lion turtle and not like a dragon or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, I wonder, like, if there's a historical significance to that, or like a cultural significance to the lion turtles because they have so much power. Like the dragons are powerful, but like these
Mhm.
guys could give us bending.
I don't know.
Like I don't know, but it's a cool way to end things with them being like, okay, we're outmanned, we're outgunned, we gotta go. And it forces such a brutal, like, departure scene. Poor Aang. I couldn't get the Nick Blob to go away, but poor Aang. I love that they divided them up though, because I feel like it would have been too many people to focus on for the rest of the
Yeah.
season.
No, like, it definitely, like, has to happen because there's too many people.
Mhm.
Um, But I think that this is also like, yes, he's sad that he failed because he didn't do what he set out to do. He's sad that he's leaving people behind. But also seeing these war like airships or whatever, now like the Fire Nation has also just like taken back something that they had the advantage on, even with just
Mhm.
having Aang. Because I think at the end of the Northern Air Temple, they say something along the lines of, "So long as we have the skies, like they won't."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, like, to have like these airships just rise up and just like
Oh,
like
man.
the Fire Nation was already like this powerhouse of a military and navy and all this stuff. And now they have this too? Like
Whew, boy.
it's a lot.
Poor Aang. But
Yeah.
and, like, it makes sense story-wise, but I'm also just, like, thinking since this is a kids show, it's so refreshing to see that boys can cry. And, like, it's not seen as a weakness, it's seen as an emotional release, and, like, it's very high emotional intelligence for a
Mhm.
show, let alone a cartoon. Um, and I just, this scene always struck me as a kid, like, "Hey, they did something different. It's not always boys can't cry. It's you're having a rough day, you absolutely can, kid."
Yeah, the show is all like, boys can cry, girls can fight.
Mhm.
Woohoo.
Exactly. We everyone can do anything that they want as long as they set their mind to it. But we get to see them leave, and lo and behold, there's Zuko at the end in his airship, following the gang.
Mhm.
Cut to black.
Yeah.
Great episode.
It's a good episode.
Mhm. Did I miss anything?
I
I
don't
think
know, let
we
me
covered
scroll through my
most of it.
notes. Let
Yeah.
me
I have, like, all these different tabs open, like, talk about this, talk about that, talk about this. Oh, you don't even wanna know how many pictures I have up on my computer right
I don't know. I think that's it. The only thing that I wanna ask is
now.
where were the airships hiding? Because like
Other
they're
side of the island?
yeah, I get that it's the other side of the island, but like the way that Aang comes in, he comes in from the other side.
Oh.
Because like they're getting ready to
Hmm.
attack from like the beach. And so he comes
Hmm.
up from the back and is like sneaking into Palace City and like, oh no, where is everybody? Um, and I'm like, those things don't like they move fast, but they don't move fast.
Do you yeah. Do you think maybe Azula was like, "Some of you Dai agents better go over here and make a secret bunker where we can build these,
I
and
don't
then when we're gonna
know.
launch,
Don't
rip the earth open
know.
so we can fly."
But yeah, that was the one thing that I was like, wait, where did these things come from? They're
That
big.
that moment, and then me being like, actually, I had 2 moments like that. One was, why the heck would you build your city, your capital, royal palace, in an active volcano? There's magma. Like,
They don't care. They don't care.
you know what happened to the last Fire Lord, or
They
not Fire
don't
Lord,
care.
Avatar from the Fire
They
Nation.
don't care.
It's a cool look. They kinda go with it. Hey, there we go. We got nerdy Vikings saying Iroh's guard still only comes in to insult his prisoner. It never gets old to him. I love that he's there when Zuko picks him up, and he's just in there saying, "He busted out. I've never seen anything like it."
He's like a one-man army.
It was amazing. Airships can hide in the air. Oh, did they they're up in the
They
sky,
don't
and then
come
they
down,
descend so
they
they
come
can
up. They come
they
up
can
from behind the volcano.
I like the
They
idea
don't
though that they were
they
up in the sky behind the clouds, and then they were like, "We wanna have a
come
dramatic
down.
entrance." The back up. It's just the right amount of dramatic flair. I love it. And Louise Lake Sparrow says they need to fail because Aang couldn't defeat the Fire Lord at this point. Nope. Exactly. They had to round out his story. He had to learn how to some fire.
That and we still have 10 more episodes in the season because that's how many
Yahoo!
Nickelodeon ordered.
Yeah. Thank heavens we got this when we did in the 2000s before they were like, oh, the people only want 10 episodes. It's like, the people do not. The people want 22.
I think 22 for an hour and a half show is good. I think 10 episodes for an hour show is good.
Yeah.
Like it all depends, because like eventually, I'm not gonna name Supernatural. Their episodes, their seasons are so long, and there's so much filler. I'm just like,
sometimes in Star Trek that happens, but we actually talked about it on Star Trek and Chill last Friday, or one of the Fridays. Time has no meaning anymore. But how some of the filler episodes had some of the funniest, most unhinged stuff. And that's kind of, we talked about it in here too. Like, you get some episodes that are just like the Great Divide, and that wouldn't happen if they didn't have as many episodes. So I'm definitely team more content, but yes, sometimes it does really add up, especially if you're trying to watch all of a show and you're just like, make it stop.
You're like, what is going on?
I'm so tired. Oh goodness. But yes, shall we move on to fan theories?
Yeah, there's not many.
Okay.
There's just one.
Ooh.
And you kind of stole my thunder.
No!
My theory is that Mean is a White Lotus member.
I am so sorry. I messed
that up. No, that's okay. No, that's okay. No, so
okay.
I think that she's a White Lotus member, and I think there's another layer to it. I think the White Lotus also helped him get out of the Fire Nation. Because it's like, he breaks out, what does he do? You're still in the Palace City. You're still in the Palace City. You just gonna steal a rowboat? What you gonna do, buddy? So
you're gonna pull a Zuko from the Northern Water Tribe and just float away.
Yeah, so either she's just a guard and she actually knows nothing. But the White Lotus still helps him get back to the Earth Kingdom or something like that. Or she is a Lotus member, and him being like, you shouldn't come into work tomorrow is their code for like, it's going down. Yeah. Like, we're gonna have to do this tomorrow.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, it's gonna happen. They could be listening.
And also, if you look, because like you get to see like an outside shot of the prison as like Zuko's like walking in. There's a lot of like stone damage around.
Oh yeah.
So either like there were some really big explosions because firebending, or there was an earthbender Lotus member waiting and helped him escape.
I like that plan.
So Iroh just has to get out of the prison, and then
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, it would make sense too, because it's not like he's just leaving the prison. He's getting out of the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's perfect.
And where do we find Iroh later on?
White Lotus.
Exactly.
It's perfect. I also want it to be known that I have been trying to load this picture, and it's still not loading. There we go. I've been trying to get it to load for like the last 5 minutes. Because it has to deal with it. We went from thick to ripped in the span of less than a year. If this doesn't get you to follow through on your resolution, do it. If Iroh can, you can. Now, if I saw him coming at me just like on a tear, I'd be like, go for it.
I'm out.
Yep. I don't get paid enough for this. Our health insurance isn't that great. Just go ahead. I don't want to get hurt. It's just too good. But yes, sweet. So that is a good theory. And the rest of the episode, it makes sense that there aren't many because it's kind of cut and dry. Yeah. So sweet. Well, shall we move on to the fan art?
Let's look at the fan art. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, the first fan art actually it has to do with real life, because apparently I believe it's the Inuits up towards Alaska.
Ask this.
Yeah, they have
about this.
These are sunglasses. Because the snow reflecting off the sunlight reflecting off the snow, which made me wonder, why do they need it if the sun's being blocked?
No, so
Like,
I was curious because the invasion party has them, but none of the Fire Nation has them. So what was the
I
purpose?
think the mechanists created it so that they could like, because I was trying to think of that too. Maybe the mechanists tried to create them so they could look up at the sun and everyone would know how much time they had left.
Okay. All right. That
That's
makes sense.
about the only thing I came up with.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, cool to see that they pulled real life into the show, even if it was like a little confusing, ever so slightly. Also, fan fans create the best of cosplays, and Katara battle Katara specifically from this episode. It's just such a cool look. If
It
I
is.
could, I would, but I can't sew. So unless they mass produce one of these, wah, wah. I
Mm.
should. Now I'm kicking myself in the butt. I should have looked up Swole Row cosplay.
It's
Need to
not too
see it.
late. Let's see
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Let's see if anyone is like a muscle Iroh cosplay. Just for kicks and giggles. Holy crap! There's a TikToker.
There's a
Uh,
TikToker?
there's a TikToker who made it.
Oh, I think I see what you're okay.
I think. TikTok won't let me watch it.
No.
It won't let me pull it up because I'm live streaming somewhere. There we go. Okay, found a way. We're gonna share the screen. Everyone, be
Oh.
ready for this.
Oh.
Where did it go? We won't. There
He
we go.
sound like SpongeBob when he doesn't want the water.
Yeah, but yeah, there you are. A nice Swolro cosplay. I just want to see one of those men who's like a muscle builder, like just a full on bodybuilder. Just cosplay it genuinely. An old bodybuilder would win a costume contest easily. Let's see, Katie, you could use staples? Question mark. I forgot what the context was for that. So sure.
Oh, you can't sew, so you could just use
Oh,
staples.
there we go. That was it.
Yeah, I
I could
got you.
just I could make that work. Not a wig or anything. Exactly. I want it genuine. That was pretty much the only cosplay I could find from this one, but I did find some spectacular fan art. The first one, I would love to see this on a poster on my wall.
Actually, I think we need just like, a little mini clip of Iroh busting out.
Yes. Oh, like they do short treks where they go back and revisit like stories and stuff. They could do
Mhm.
a short avatar and just
Yeah.
not
There's
even
all
chibi
these
form. I want it
Oh, I
bulked up Iroh.
I might want both.
Yeah.
I might want both.
Yes! Who says we can't? Rapunzel, you were absolutely right. I should add it as a New Year's resolution. I should ask my neighbor. She is amazing and she knows how to sew. So we'll see. Then we also have, I can't remember if this was based off of, I seem to recall they had like a poster promoting it that was something like this. It might be a Mandela effect. I don't know. But I love the fact that everyone's there. The only question I have is, what is Toph doing? She looks like she's throwing down a sick beat. It's like,
Um,
get wrecked.
yeah. Yeah.
So I just like that. It seems like it's cool to get the gang together for this battle before they add Zuko. And then this one made me start to tear up. I know.
Why?
I know.
There are certain moments in my life where I go, "You are so stupid." And this is one of these moments. Why have I never thought of this?
To be fair, I did not either. I saw this and I gasped. I was just like,
UA is the real one. I think UA might be the true hero of this.
I think so. Look, I emotionally damaged Rapunzel too.
Like, UA comes back so much.
Oh yeah. She is so amazing.
Well,
But yes,
love
emotional
to see
damage.
it.
And now
Emotional
on the
damage.
complete opposite end of the spectrum, here's the picture that's been on my computer for
Oh,
months,
yes.
years.
Please.
Boom.
See, this is what I want.
Oh,
This
melts through
Can you
the
imagine
lightning.
Like a
Actually
7-minute video
oh,
of him just busting out.
that'd be sick. But
Yeah.
also, the explosions that you mentioned, the rock chunks, lightning. It could
Yeah,
have been
no,
used
like yeah, like, they obviously
wow!
could be because of firebending, but, like, there's just, like, a lot of stone damage, so I'm like, "Oh, I
Oh,
wonder
yeah.
if, like, there was an earthbender or something
That'd
like
be a
that."
lot of electricity.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rapunzel, control yourself. It is true though. Also pointing out he's an innie. I have to. I can't let you guys think I'm hinged for one moment. I am fully
Nah, never.
unhinged, just like this door. Um, yeah, this I saw this. I went, well, guess I'm saving that. But yeah, this person, if they could animate this, it'd probably take a while because there's so many details. But please, please, for my curiosity, do so. Louisa Express says, "Bad Medicine are a reaction channel. They're wrestlers and bodybuilders, and they loved Avatar. Oh, sweet! I'll have to check that out." And then Time Promise says, "He's holding the hot end of the metal. He is the hot end of the metal." Uh,
Wow, and good night, everyone.
yeah, yeah. Bye. Oh, just so cool. But we'll end on that note because you could go in a fan fiction rabbit hole about Swole Row. Some people have. I kind of stepped one foot down and went, I want to go to church and look my priest in the eye. So, uh, avoided that. But yes, I think that should cover everything. Brandy, did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Look at us.
I was gonna say, I think we're gonna have to take a moment and go, wow, we've got through an hour episode in about the normal time it takes us to get through a 30-minute
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. I'm impressed. We're getting the hang of this. It's only a few years in, but
Wow.
we're getting
It's
the
almost like we've been doing this for like 2, 3 years.
Who would have thought? Oh, we're getting there. We're just before the finish line, which is coming up. And then we have the new Netflix series, which there's been a lot of talk about that coming up.
Yep.
The episode names, how it's all going to unfold. It's exciting. We'll see. We might have to adjust our how many episodes we actually talk about in a stream so that we can line things up. We'll do the
Yeah,
math,
we'll
crunch the
we'll
numbers.
figure it out.
But it'll be great. Oh, makes note. Search AO3 for Swole Row. Yeah, read that in the tornado shelter. Whew, it'll take your mind off of things and onto others. But yes, all right. So we are done with this one. Next up, we get Zuko and his lovely frog friend, and
Hi,
that's the part of
Zuko's
the
here.
episode that reminds me. Yeah, it's so cute. I'm excited. I'm so excited to talk about this one. I love this episode. So it'll be a fun
Yeah,
time.
I think the later half of the season is better than the first half. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to continue on and talk about like, you know,
Mhm.
each episode. Boiling warm. All I'm gonna say.
Yeah, yes. And Time Prophet says, mental note, don't search for Swole Row. Can't say what I found. I warned you. But on that note, we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. And yeah, have a great night. Stay safe. Don't get sucked into a tornado.
Yeah. Woo!